with Mana Talk. It is July 24th, 2025. And we all need to bow our heads and say a little prayer. We've got the amazing, he was just a great entertainer. That's pretty much it. An athlete, of course. I think I went to a few wrestling matches in my time. Nothing big like WWE or WWF, whatever they call it. But it's a show. It's all, but it's fun to watch. You know, people like to see crazy shit happen, I guess. But he was an entertainer, and he did a pretty good job. And sadly, he died at the age of 71. And we're talking about Hulk Hogan. And say a little prayer for him and his family. And friends. And there's a ding-dong sheep herder right below there, Bernie Sanders. Man. All right. Everybody is still not over the Epstein client list. We're just not. Everybody. And if you are, then I'm concerned about you. And may God have mercy on your soul. Because it's the victims that need to have their retribution. They need to have their justice upon the clients and everybody that's involved. And that's what it's about. So whatever Trump finds as far as trafficking now and all this other stuff, that was trafficking. That was some serious crazy shit. And people are just, they're getting like levels of, they're being, the government will, and it's done it in the past, throw you a bone every once in a while just to keep you satiated. And then they'll also give you some piece of false hope that some actual justice or something's going to happen on the behalf of the U.S. voting republic, or the 99.9% of the people in the United States and across the planet. And in regards to Epstein, it's not happening. And there's another little thing that happened. Now, I haven't verified this yet. This is from Hustle Bitch. And I'm not surprised. Right here, Hustle Bitch. Pam Bondi mysteriously drops out with a sudden medical emergency less than 24 hours before the Department of Justice and their secret meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. It's not Ghislaine, it's Ghislaine. Anyway, I'm not going to give you the motion of what that. Yeah, it's just fucking everywhere, man. So, I'm looking for it, and the big hype was, is there anybody out there that could actually, why isn't it showing up? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. My bad. Oh, here we go. All right, yeah, so, news, Jeffrey Epstein, right here, Justice Department plans to reach out to Ghislaine Maxwell for a meeting. I'd like to hear it. It's is a secret, private meeting. I mean, it's getting bad, But as long as I have some pineapple. So good. It's perfect. This pineapple is perfect. I cut it perfectly. And I'm just as baffled and bewildered as you are, right? Pam Bondi flip-flops on Epstein, now open to interview Ghislaine Maxwell. And then everybody's talking about Trump. President Trump told by Pam Bondi his name appeared multiple times on Epstein Files report. which could be the case. I'm not saying that's not the case, but there's also something that surfaced. And look, I voted for Trump. I really believe that this guy was going to produce what he said he was and everything. And there's a huge list, right? I'm going to say right now, I think the guy's pretty badass. He works his ass off. But if there's something in the past, and that's just interesting because people are saying, I mean, if there is something in the past with now, okay, let me back up a little bit. There's lots of theories going out, lots of speculation, tons of assumptions in regards to Trump and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and that entire trafficking, abusive crap. And there's some people that are saying, there's actually people, which is amazing to me, that saying there were no clients. And that was probably the stupidest, most idiotic, and delusional perspective you could have of this. So why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Anyway, and why did Jeffrey go into prison? Was it just him? Him with thousands of... anyway. And some of us have seen the flight logs, and you've seen the name, and I've seen Trump's name in there, and a bunch of other people. Some people connected to the Mossad, and some people connected to Israel, and a lot of people connected to major corporations and political figures. And look, it could turn... It could, and this is the other thing, this is another consideration that I'm sure the U.S. government is concerned about, is what kind of damage would this do to us? Well, if you weren't involved with it, and you're just exposing the facts and the truth and releasing and being transparent as you said you were, then nothing should happen. Then the administration can move on. But there's obviously they're protecting something. Look, they're doing a lot of stuff. And I get it, because they are. I mean, I can go through the list. There's a list that just came out recently. That, oh yeah, we all know. Let's see if can you guys see this? Let me get back to here. Yeah. There's a list that came out recently. Of what some of the accomplishments that have happened. There's also some other information in regards to which way the Department of Justice may go. There's been several interesting situations with a few of the cooks. And the most recent was when the guy died naked up in knee-deep water. And then the next day, there's pictures of Obama with his fingers messed up. I don't know if that's just for golfing or blisters, who knows. And there's a lot of speculation. But the biggest problem here, right, and I'm glad that he's getting men out of sports, for God's sakes, out of women's sports. I mean, oh my God. That's just crazy. I can't believe that's even something that's still happening to this day. Canada's still doing it. There's still a few places in the blue states where they're allowing it. It's just freaking nuts. Of course, you all know that James Corbett is gone.
And some folks are skeptical. Thankfully, Big Pharma has come up with a way to reassure the public about their motives. And it's all in their new ad.
Are you worried about the future? Unable to sleep at night? Afraid that pharma companies will put their profits ahead of your health? If you are concerned about the cost of a vaccine, ask your doctor about Vaxilax. Vaxilax is the only medication proven to reduce anxiety about Big Pharma taking advantage of you in a national crisis. You can trust Vaxilax because of its mascot, Professor Cashington, the ethical money sack.
Side effects of Vaxilax include legless rest syndrome, kidney rhinestones, crumblefoot, spontaneous beard spasm.
That's Colbert in 2020. And this is, I believe, during the time when Trump was starting to say that they've got a vaccine ready to go. So, of course, he's going after Trump. But his tone and his tunes change.
Sparrows, the galloping hoop sticks, spinal crunch wrapping, Ferdinand's flopsy, big old pink face, Gordon's fisherman syndrome, scrotal yodas, chronic vaccine resistance, facial graham crackering, full-blown coronavirus, and dollar bills, y'all.
The vaccine.
Yeah, it's amazing what money
Some
will
folks
do to
are
people.
skeptical. Thankfully, Big Pharma has come.
But I wanted you to watch this. See if I can play it.
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
That's not a good video for Don. Yes, this is not a good sign for Don. As I said, the Democrats are going to keep leaking as much as they can, and eventually they'll get desperate and leak the entire file before Trump will. I keep telling them, nobody's listening. And it's becoming a giant thorn, no matter what this guy's doing. And I'm telling you, he's doing a lot of stuff. And then, of course, you're seeing that Ghislaine Maxwell, lawyer, says she's fully cooperated and answered all DOJ questions during today's interview. So that's contradictory because Hustle Bitch said that didn't happen. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm a little concerned here. I mean, what Benny Johnson is giving us and what's actually happened. I mean, if they're putting out that he's out there and she's done it, but she hasn't, it's becoming a debacle. I mean, in the beginning it was a debacle, right? You guys saw it. Pam starts to talk about the client list and all this other shit in a report that she sent out that wasn't signed, wasn't dated. She just threw it out there on a Sunday night. And then a day later, the next day or whatever, just right after, they have this conference, and it was the worst fucking look. Pam can act because you actually take acting classes as a lawyer. You're taught how to speak and act during when you're prosecuting or defending, because you have to sound honest, truthful, and concise and to the point, et cetera, et cetera. You're a fucking lawyer. You get it. But Trump comes out and goes, I don't know why we're still talking about this. I was like, dude, fuck. Look, reality show, The Apprentice, you were never a good actor. Okay? You're great at business, right? You're the art of the deal master. We get that. You're great at negotiating with leaders. By the way, these tariffs are going to be up by the end of this month. He extended them, but we'll see how that goes. Prices of eggs have gone down. Prices of gas has gone down. I don't know why the fuck the steaks are still freaking expensive. Can somebody explain that? And where's the tallow? Where's the delicious French fries just sizzling and frying in tallow? For fuck's sakes, dude. Come on, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Oh, we're gonna have better ice cream in 2 years. Okay, so everybody keep eating the poison, right? Yeah. So supposedly she did go. She didn't go. I'm just like, what the fuck? Maxwell closed door meeting with Deputy AG Blanche right now in Tallahassee. So I was like, what? Wait, this was 8 hours ago, and then he posted this one 2 hours later. 4 hours later. 6 hours later, sorry. And so what's interesting is that what happened? I mean, it's saying right here, Daily Mail said medical condition sidelines Pam'S after explosive report. That was 12 hours ago. I guess it's pretty recent. So we really don't know. BlackRock is just fucking evil. They own, Big Pharma, military industrial complex, pretty much everybody on the planet. Probably Don. I don't know. It seems like they got a lot of power. Don seems to like him. Donnie seems to like him. But there's, like I said, there's a lot of good things. Fuck. Lindsey Graham's full of shit. Congress hammers Epstein's file, Maxwell appeal decision. I'm a suspect. Yeah, Congress is going after her. The Democrats want it exposed. They're trying to get it exposed, which is interesting. I think the distraction's getting bigger, obviously. There's always a distraction. Clapper might flee the country. Everybody now that's associated with Obama or Hillary, they're all fucking flight risks. I told you this was going to happen. I said every Democratic elitist deep state fuck, even on the Republican side, are all flight risks now, right? Mike Pence, Crenshaw, Grant, just name it. I don't think anybody's going to burn anything down. They're saying that Obama's, if they arrest me, you know what to do. It's a cryptic message from the former president sent privately to his followers. BLM it like he did in 2020. That was just fucked up. I get the protesting, but it was all staged. It was all created. You'll find out. And then, of course, they did say, and we know this, that there was going to be the grand jury releasing the request from Pam Bondi. She comes out, she says, we're going to have the grand jury release. And it's only like 100 pages, really nothing in there. So Obama appointed judge Rosenberg just blocked unsealing the grand jury testimony in the Epstein case. And for you to think that Donald Trump, especially Pam Bondi, did not know that was going to happen, you have to be completely retarded. That's it. So this is exactly what Pam Bondi and Donald Trump knew was going to happen, as this action to go through a grand jury was pre-calculated. It absolutely was. And this now completely reveals that they are now hiding from something, or definitely protecting some people or whoever on the Epstein client list. I told you. I'm getting really tired of saying, remember I said, or I told you so, or it's just getting fucking old, because some of the stuff is pretty predictable. If you're really following how the dots are being connected, and you're checking yourself before you wreck yourself, and you're doing your due diligence, and you're searching around for information. And look, in regards to Hustle Bitch saying that she's going out there, and then 6 hours later, she's not going out there. We don't know until it actually happens. Video, recordings, audio, whatever the case may be. So we're going to find out more about that. And I told you that Ayanna Pressley, one of the DEI hires in Congress, was just forced the Oversight Committee to subpoena the Epstein files, a massive win for transparency, accountability, and healing. Wow. Pam Bondi must release them immediately. And I told you, they're going to do whatever they can to bring this out. They're at that point. And this was a gigantic mistake of what Trump is doing with this. If whoever you're protecting, man, if it's you, you're fucked. Because they're going to, like I said, if you think or believe or contemplate that the Epstein files is only in the possession of Pam Bondi, then you don't know governments. Every government out there, if they have something that they could use for leverage in the future, congressionally, it's just there's been blackmail and framing and people being set up left and right for a long ass fucking time in our country. And that's why I've been saying it's just this shit's got to stop. It's just when we start to evolve, when we start to get better, when we start to actually become something, and we do good things, and we start to do good things, something happens, and it's usually because of their dicks or their perversion or money and the corruption of it, right? That just fucks everything up, right? I mean, like right here, let's look at this. Let me make this bigger. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a whole bunch of stuff. Executive actions codified in the 119th Congress. Number one, preserving and protecting the integrity of American elections. I don't really see that happening too much because Dominion is still out there and the blue states are still fucked. Defending women for gender ideology, again, unleashing prosperity through deregulation. I get that. Imposing sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Immediate expansion of American timber production. Good. Restoring names that honor American greatness. We've got to be careful with that. Protecting American communities from criminal aliens. Definitely, I agree. Like I said, for decades, this country has brought in anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 illegal immigrants per year. Costed us a few $1 million to transport them out or take care of them or provide some medical assistance or whatever the case may be. And it was a back and forth, but it was about that many for decades. And then during the Biden administration, they let in, on average, about 4.3 million per year. That's just the lowball number. Cost us $450 billion. And that's not all of it. And they were giving away free phones, Medicare, health care, dental care, luxurious, lavish hotels. They were giving them money. It's just, and everybody else is like, ooh, what about us? What about these people that have been in line trying to be citizens prior to that? That were still waiting. Did they get a pass? No. Right? Let me just move forward here. Let me see if protecting American community, small business administration, any taxpayers subsidized on open borders, making District of Columbia, random hitting executive departments, agency events, putting America's first in international environment agreement, radical transparency about wasteful spending. Okay, which all the use. I mean, this is what they should be doing. All right, this is a no-brainer. Which are the U.S. from the funding of certain UN organizations and preventing U.S. support to international organizations, which is the World Economic Forum, Chatham House, the WHO, the WHO, or the World Health Organization, restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. So far, yeah. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs, which didn't help anybody. I'm telling you, if there's somebody else that can do my job better, then I think they should get the job. I mean, that's it. I don't care if they're purple, checkered, black, white, orange, gray, whatever, translucent. I don't know, right? Just fucking, if you can do the job, get hired. That's it. Shouldn't get it because you're a certain particular color. Expanding access to vitro for, restoring American maritime dominance. Interesting. I got to remember that. Number 23, restoring America, because I've got a little chip on my shoulder in